Now, I've got some final tips for debugging, and these are not so much techniques, but they're just really, really important tips from somebody who's done quite a lot of coding and created a massive amount of bugs in my lifetime. So tip number 7 is take a break. It's really, really important when you're just staring at the code and you keep looking at it, it's not going to tell you the solution. Just have a cup of tea or have a nap or just go to sleep and try to tackle it tomorrow. You will be surprised just how much easier things are when your brain's had some downtime and then you come back to it. Everything seems so much more obvious. And if you really, really get stuck and you just can't see it, ask a friend, not your friend print, but your actual friend, a real human, preferably a developer, but they don't have to be. It could be somebody who's taking the course with you. You could go onto Discord and find other students to help you. Because after all, you're all just leveling up your own programming skills, right? The really good thing about asking a friend to look through your code is they won't make the same assumptions that you've made. So they have some fresh eyes that they can look at the code with, and it might be incredibly obvious what's actually happening. And it's really not embarrassing at all. If somebody managed to help you with your code, you can offer to help them the next time when they get stuck. And for the person who's helping you, they're also just working out their programming muscles, right? Now, the next tip is to run often. No, you don't have to go exercising to be a good programmer. But what I mean is run your code often. Don't wait until you've written loads and loads of code to hit run and then find out you've got loads of snags and loads of bugs, but run it after every little execution. Once you feel like you've changed the program ever so slightly, run it. Confirm that it's actually doing what you want it to do. Because if you leave it all to the end, then you end up with a pile of bugs and you don't know where to start. Now, if you do end up in that situation and you can see multiple bugs at the same time, try to tackle them one at a time instead of trying to do bits and bobs of each. It'll really, really help. And the final tip is, of course, Stack Overflow. I've saved this to last because you really don't want to take every single small bug of yours to Stack Overflow. That's not what it's designed for. Instead, it's really designed as a way of asking other developers when you think that you've come across a bug or an issue that should be unique. Now, if you think that your issue isn't unique and other people should have encountered this, then just search Stack Overflow. If you really think that nobody in the world has had this issue that you're having right now, then that's the moment to ask the Oracle, Stack Overflow. I've worked in a lot of companies where everybody just goes to the pub when Stack Overflow is down because there's just no point. As programmers, we use it and we search it so much that it's become a really vital tool in the tool belt. But you only want to ask a question when you're pretty sure that you've exhausted all other avenues of debugging and you've searched all of Stack Overflow and you finally end up with something very strange and very weird that you want others to help you figure out. So don't worry about creating bugs, and hopefully at this point you're creating friendly bugs like this little caterpillar right now. And as you skill up and become even more advanced, you're going to be creating bigger and more scary bugs. So at some point in the future, when you're creating bugs like these, then you really know that you've become a professional. You will wish to come back to today when you can tackle bugs like these instead. So don't worry about creating them. It doesn't mean that you're a bad programmer. In fact, it's an important part of every programmer's journey. Just as a sort of personal note, there was a point in time where I really thought that I was not a programmer of code, that I was just a programmer of bugs. It seemed like every line of code I wrote was a bug. So these are my 10 top tips for debugging. And I hope that anytime when your code is not doing what you expect it to do, to come back to this lesson, review these 10 steps, go through them one by one. And I bet 99% of the time, once you've gone through all of these stages, you will have solved your bug and you will have made your code a lot better. And remember that every bug that you catch in your code and that you fix is like lifting a dumbbell in the gym. It's just one rep. And the more reps you do, the better you'll get at programming. in the next lesson, I've got some coding challenges for you to debug. Are you ready to flex your programming muscles? I hope so. Head over to the next lesson and get started.